And somewhere along the way, she met the guy of her dreams.
iCarly has been through a lot of shifts in its run. First, from being a newbie follow-up to Drake and Josh, all the way to being commentary on internet fame. It found its own identity and pretty much looked every Teen Nick sitcom in the face and been like, I'm gonna have more episodes than you. Which it did. It had like the most episodes of every Teen Nick show ever. But there's one place that I can't help but point out is the most dramatic shift. And no, not the infamous end of season 3 where they went super nutty and stopped caring about the plot. I'm talking about the shift from season 1 to 2 when Freddy's voice notably became different. That's when the show became different.
Love cashews.
Why does your voice sound deeper?
I don't know, puberty.
That's when iJapan came into the whole ordeal. That's when Fred started showing up. This is the most impactful turn of events for any Teen Nick show ever, and it happens right here in the second season of iCarly. As you know, the episode numbers and air dates are so much different than one another, it makes the production feel very confusing, so I wanted to do something special this time around. I wanted to go over these episodes in order of production code instead of airing order. So yeah, the way they filmed them. So we're gonna have a whole different story by the end of the second season. You know how it said there's 39 episodes in season 2? Well, this production code says there's 26, so we're gonna go over these 26. Getting to know iCarly again. Now, despite the fact there was a huge shift, it's so weird to think that the first season ended in July of 2008, and the second one premiered like barely 2 months later in September 2008. Yeah, this makes sense when I was like watching this for the first time, and I was like, why does everything feel so different? Why is Freddy suddenly older now? I don't know why that's just like the biggest form of measurement I can tell with this series. I do want to go in production order instead of airing order because, you know, TV shows, Nickelodeon, they're always going to screw up that order, but I want to know what was like originally intended. So without further ado, let's get into the craziest shift in iCarly, Season 2. Okay, contrary to popular belief, Season 2 actually begins with a feature film movie, I Go to Japan. Yeah, this infamous special is something that you guys all knew about. Not that I'm accusing you of lying, but we can't forget this. Most important thing I'm ever gonna have to know is the giant shift in Freddy's voice really happens in this episode. The first thing they filmed under the new identity of Season 2 after 25 great Season 1 episodes. It starts with them doing the webcast, figuring out that they're actually nominated to be a part of Webicon, a video convention, kind of parody of VidCon, where the group is going to be nominated alongside a couple other shows for being the best web series, which is super exciting. In the meantime, Spencer is learning Japanese.
How are you today? O genki desu ka?
Again, what?
No! The pain helps you learn.
And hitting on a cardboard cutout. Didn't see that coming at all.
I bought her when I bought him.
Why? Because she's hot?
Well, not just because, yes.
So they find out the other shows that they're against during this Webicon, and it's just a man with a puppet and Kyoko and Yuki, which end up being the most important one, but we'll get to that in a bit. The adventure really begins about almost 20 minutes into the special where they're headed to Japan in a plane driven by Bob Pinciotti from That 70s Show. Yeah, that's how I knew this guy. Super excited to see him because he is such a fun sitcom actor. And it has all the kids essentially jumping out of the plane to kickstart this wacky adventure in Japan.
Welcome to Japan!
I just wish they didn't use Japan per se, like giving that they talk about Yakima or all these made-up places. You could have made up something like Victorious did in We're Locked Up special. And the whole point of this scene is that they have to go to the bathroom using a bucket. What the heck? Oh, and there's a prettier bucket for the women. Ay, ay, ay. Miss Benson's along for the ride, which actually adds a really funny energy to the whole thing. It makes me feel like a full-on road trip movie, the way they kickstart this whole event. And the most infamous part is when they're checking into the hotel, and the woman insinuates she's gonna put Carly and Freddy in the same room, and Freddy smiles. That's kind of a smirk, Freddy.
May I help you?
Yeah, we're checking in.
Oh, honeymoon couple.
It's It's like something I really remember out of all this special, and I do not know why. Meanwhile, they meet Kyoko and Yuki and the other people being nominated for the event. Turns out these guys are a little shifty, not at first, but they start taking them all throughout Japan and then suspiciously leave them on the side of the road. Oh my gosh. Then the B-plot is more Spencer and Mrs. Benson, which actually is a really funny dynamic. I like them together, but I don't like them actually together, like you'll see in the Christmas episode, but we'll get that later. So they get trapped in seaweed wrap. I guess they're also a part of this stuck plan, which, by the way, oh my god, it reminds me of Drake and Josh having stuck episodes. That's kind of what happens for this whole comedic beat. But it's fun because they actually take the stakes seriously, and it's a grounded show as opposed to like something that would be in the later seasons. And they pull Spencer's towel in the lobby where he's wearing another towel, which is actually really funny. I forgot that joke, and that needs noting.
Ha! I'm wearing a second towel.
So the three kids are on their way back, not sure they're gonna make it to WebCon on time, and even get hit by a bunch of mud. Ew. Luckily, Miss Benson kept a tracker in Freddy's brain that'll allow them to find him, which is really inappropriate. Oh my gosh, is that not breaking some kind of law? So yeah, when the iWeb Awards are going on, Freddy, Sam, and Carly don't seem like they're gonna be there on time. I don't know how I feel about these shots of the audience members. It feels really weird. I don't know if they're like fake or what. We didn't have AI then, so this could be odd. They have a huge language barrier between the security and the kids, so they end up being locked up as the whole event transpires, which is very frustrating, and honestly, it's like kind of funny, but the way it all plays out comes across as offensive. I gotta be honest, like, it just looks like you're making fun of somebody. So they end up streaming live for the event where everybody gets to see them be hilarious, and it actually like solves their whole problem with them tickling the security guards, which by the way would be a problem, but I guess they're kids, so it wouldn't actually. I don't know. Kyoko and Yuki end up doing whatever they were planning on doing on stage live. I don't know if web shows should be performed live, but okay, I thought that was the whole point of the medium. And they just like wear a longer shirt and eat corn. What in the world? It's not the same as singing, guys. All around, it's a really fun adventure, taking the regular gang to a whole new place, putting them in a lot of new scenarios, and Japan, of all regions to go to, that's cool. I honestly really wish they treated this more of a movie or a feature of some sort. I know they did in the TV movie world online, but like it still bothers me this isn't like a feature film. Like this is such a good excuse to do something like that, and in the 2000s I feel like we weren't afraid of doing stuff like that, but then again, I guess Nickelodeon had a different side of things because I was going to high school. In the context of this starting off the second season, I feel like it's even better in that regard, like how Zoe 101 ended with Spring Breakup. Like there's just something about having a special to kickstart a new generation of episodes that I don't know why they didn't just commit to. Like, come on guys, it's right there, do it. But yeah, I Go to Japan is a narratively sound episode. It's got some questionable actions and like the group going through some weird stuff, but all around really fun. I Saw Him First is, however, the next episode in iCarly Season 2. So while it didn't air before I Go to Japan, it was still a significant opener to the show. It's the first normal episode of the season, so I'm not gonna ruin it for that sake. But yeah, Freddy comes in and the iCarly gang are already gearing up for a new web show. Carly and Sam are in disagreement, and this is one of the episodes that focus on them and their relationship, which you always gotta like. I feel like Hannah Montana really shined in the episodes about Miley and Lily being on different sides of the plot, and now having Sam and Carly, it's just funny to the max. Like, they know right away what the best comedy beats are gonna work for this show. Spencer gets locked in his elevator with a fog machine, which is so funny. I don't know why, this guy is hilarious. So they start the web show. They're doing a little hula sketch when one of their peers come in to be a part of the show. His name's Shane, and he's from school, and his name's James Maslow, which is so funny because this character actually comes back in the iCarly reboot series, which is so surprising. You should definitely check that out if you're nostalgic for this episode. It is really funny. They do make it seem like his life has gone nowhere, but you know what? Isn't that the best comedy? So yeah, Shane is a genius because they're doing a science project live on the air, and honestly not at all like his character on Big Time Rush, so it is cool to see him be really good at acting. I don't know what this thing is with Carly and Sam putting their tongue on the same tube. Like, it's just really awkward to me. It didn't need to happen. So Carly and Sam start fighting over Shane because they both have a crush on him, and they're like, whoever saw him first gets him. Turns out they both saw him at the exact same time. Not sure how this like coincides with the web show per se, but it is a funny, like, offshoot as to the main plot. Spencer's whole B-plot is trying to fix the elevator, having different people come and tell him even more complicated information, to which they never fix it. Kind of reminds me on Big Bang Theory, how they never fix their elevator. Yeah, this is gonna end up having Shane fall down it during the end of the episode, but yeah, spoiler alert. So it's interesting that they're building up toward that the whole time. Very good storytelling. So tension rises with Sam and Carly as the episode goes on, which only gets funnier and funnier. I feel like you learn a lot about Carly's character in the way that she's willing to fight. You know, she's very timid, she's not 100% going for it, and Sam is actually holding back a little bit compared to what she's capable of. You know, like, she can go to juvie, but it's nice to know these girls care for each other and have boundaries.
Why don't you ask your new helping bra? That's it. I'm out of here. This is my house.
Of course, Freddie tries to talk Carly out of this whole dating thing, which is so funny. Earlier in this show, I forgot how much he had a crush on her and how actively he pursued it, which is actually kind of creepy when you think about it. He didn't take no for an answer so many times. The girls decide whoever can get Shane to kiss them first is going to be the one to win him, and oh my god, I can't believe they're objectifying this guy. Not the first time they're gonna do this in the series, though. Yeah, I'm talking about you, the I Hire an Idiot episode. This is where it gets kind of psychopathic. So yeah, Sam starts a kissing booth, which doesn't seem like, it seems like deception, but other guys try to go to the booth, which is actually really funny. Carly ends up bringing him home and they do an acting scene, and she's like, we should kiss at the end of this. All this is deceptive for like no reason.
You look so beautiful in the moonlight.
Oh, Bruno. Thanks. You rock for saying that.
And especially when Sam pretends to break her leg and Shane's about to come get her. Then the nurse comes in to help her, which obviously an adult seeing somebody on the ground would do. Like, I don't know why we wouldn't do that anyway.
I was certified in CPR last year.
We'll get to it, man!
Okay.
Out of my way! Give me some room! No!
And yeah, it just gets really dirty up until the very end when Sam interrupts and Shane is like, this is too much for me. I don't want to be with either of you, especially if you're gonna act like this, and falls down the elevator. Crazy end to an episode. I like how they just kept going with the montage bit up until the very end, like just making it comedy bite after comedy bite.
Shane!
You girls call me when you learn to be a little more
Very interesting episode. I definitely feel like it didn't do bad as serving as the intro to the second season, but I'm glad that it is essentially the fourth episode. Still the first episode featured, but you know what I mean. This next episode is one of the classics. It's called iStage an Intervention. Now, the premise of this one is actually really fun. So it's like Spencer gets addicted to a game called Pack Rat when he finds this old machine, and it basically ruins his life in the same way like drugs would, and they have to have a whole intervention. It's a really fun concept, especially for kids, showing that it's like video games. This is like before the Fortnite era, so it actually wasn't normalized. Now Spencer could probably make so much money off of that. Can you imagine if he's like a speedrunner or something? That would be awesome. The B-plot is so relevant too. It actually starts with it. It's like Freddy gets a chain email from Gibby, and if he doesn't forward it to X amount of people, he's gonna be cursed. And oh my gosh, yeah, this becomes a whole thing with him actually believing he is cursed.
Consuela's revenge! I'm not forwarding the stupid email.
You better. Tell you. Ah! I'm going downstairs!
And my friends pulled a prank like this on me once when I was little. There was like this website called Peter Answers, and they made me believe everything I typed in was being answered by a ghost. Yeah, but you know what? That's what happens before you turn 25. Just kidding, I was a kid. So yeah, Freddy doesn't believe that this whole thing exists, which is fair. It's just funny that like that would even happen today, like forwarding messages. So Freddy starts to believe Consuela's revenge when things start happening to him, like his laptop messes up, and he's just stubborn and is like, no, there's no way, I don't believe in that. And meanwhile, Spencer is supposed to get a nice art project to somebody, which is all the stakes in the episode, essentially. Like, we're actually concerned about him because he needs to do these adult things, and he keeps reverting back to a teenager, which, oh my god, doesn't this look like Ratatouille? I swear, this kind of looks like Ratatouille to me. I'm not gonna say anything. And this is a time where iCarly was treated needed like a serious show with real world stakes, something that they completely abandoned in the second half of the series, and you've probably heard me complain about multiple times on this channel. But yeah, Spencer doesn't end up turning in his project, so Carly gets really upset with him and basically sprays him with a hose, pushing him to admit that he has a problem. Ooh, definitely some good stakes here.
Oh, I am not addicted to back racks. We can stop squirting. I'm addicted to back racks.
I know! I can't believe you're still playing that!
So Sam, Freddy, and Carly believe that Spencer can get off of his addiction if he beats, like, the strongest one, which, I don't know, I feel like that would be the beginning of a new era, but maybe this is, like, before that time. And since they don't really know where she is, she's apparently retired, they try to use their web show to bribe their audience to get her, which is so crazy that they have this kind of power. It kind of reminds me of, like, Swifties. They're bribing the internet with knives and a picture of a pregnant dude, which is so crazy. Is this like modern day memes? So once they end up finding Sasha Stryker, there's a lot of unnecessary sexual tension between her and Spencer, so I don't know where that's coming from, but yeah, it ends up being a completely platonic game being covered by the Nerds Network online. I just made that up. I don't know what it's actually called, and I didn't even want to check. And so Spencer kind of accomplishes his goals, and then he ends up getting in his sculpture on time, which is just a pink poodle for this man's wife. And yeah, honestly, the scene where he's being recorded on a network definitely feels like a Drake and Josh gag. Like, the way they throw the characters into it just feels like it'd be done on that show. Spencer and Sasha end up kissing, which really doesn't feel necessary. I don't know why this had to do with the episode. It makes me think about the reboot and, like, wonder if this was always planned for Spencer. By the end of the episode, Sam gets a text from the hottest guy in school to meet her and talk to her, but hey, that's not even true. It's Freddy pranking Sam back once he realizes that Consuela's revenge was actually made up and Sam was just making him paranoid. Carly and him have like a nice little interaction at the end, and it makes you feel like they're leaning towards something, but I swear they're just, they don't even know what they're doing at this point. They just want us to ship them to create more hype for the show, and you know what? Hey, it works really well. All around, really fun episode, contained like 2 stories with actual stakes they're going through. It's starting to feel like a genuine sitcom, and a step up from Drake and Josh, which I wasn't even expecting, but looking back, like, these were definitely its golden years, and if it weren't so spot on about, like, where the internet culture has led us to today, then honestly, I don't think it would hold up, but this kind of was at the right place at the right time. iCarly's smart. Carly ends up playing the game at the very end, and that's just kind of it. There's not much more that happens. And Spencer, didn't he have a pranking addiction? Why did he have a pack rat addiction and that? Like, couldn't you have just chosen one? Or even brought Pat Rack back? Like, that would have been awesome. Now, the next episode is iOwe, and if you knew about as much of this show as I do, you'd know that this is some classic season 2 vibe. iOwe ventures out from like the normal responsibilities we have with the kids as a web show, and we start to actually jump into the job market, which feels like, I don't know, it just feels like a season 2 related plot. The very beginning is really iconic. I mean, just to me, I remember Freddy hitting on Carly in this moment really well, and it's so funny that they end up phasing out his like intense pickup lines to Carly. Like, he clearly gets the hint that she doesn't like him like that, but it's so funny because she never actually says that. It's what a weird unspoken, like, love story this is. And I can't even call it a love story. It literally, like, kind of fizzes out. Was that a choice? Meanwhile, Spencer has a crush on this Girl Scout's mom. This little girl's delivering cookies, and Spencer just wants to be with her, so he ends up trying to sell fudge balls for the Sunshine Girls, which is the in-universe version of the Girl Scouts. Kind of reminds me of, like, Ed, Edd n Eddy has their own ones. Camp Lazlo has the Squirrel Scouts. It's just crazy how many different media sources, like, make this up. So Sam is the main plot of this episode. Sorry I held that off for so long. But Freddy and Carly basically tell her, like, you've borrowed so much from us, we can't let you borrow another dime. And Sam is, like, determined to pay them back, which is nice. It's like a flawed character with a positive goal. You really feel like you're vouching for her in this moment. There's, like, actual stakes. At first, Carly and Sam end up asking for money over the internet, which turns out to be a huge legal issue. Principal Franklin gets involved and shows the kids, which, would this ever happen in modern day iCarly? Would they ever actually show the kids having consequences for things that go on in their life? Yeah, no, it's just April Fool's Day episodes that are parodying Wizard of Oz and these weird April Fool's Day episodes, and I don't know what iCarly became later. I can't help but think about it too. So Sam finally gets a job. She starts working at a food restaurant and she is miserable. It's very like, how is she like a delinquent but also super spoiled when she's not even that rich? I don't know. Sam is just such an interesting character to me. I don't even know where it comes from. They ask Sam to clean the bathroom and she's like, no, that's degrading, which is, yeah, that's the point, Sam. It's a job. It's so funny because like I can't believe they would ask like a young girl to go into the guy's bathroom and clean it, but then again, that's just how it is, isn't it? So yeah, she can't handle the job at all and she is just crying on Carly's lap.
I don't like working. I don't know how people do it. It's horrible.
She even screams at Freddy, which feels verbally abusive. Like, there's a point where it's just like, she doesn't have any respect for his boundaries at all. Spencer solves the entire episode's problems by realizing if he gives the Sunshine Girls chocolates to the people that sent the money, that it's technically a legal loophole, which actually brings back his backstory as a lawyer. Kind of cool that that's actually taken seriously again. Just glad it has substance this time around.
Principal Franklin didn't go to law school like your big bro.
You went for 3 days.
But I kept this book.
So Carly and Freddy basically do Sam a solid and are like, oh, now Sam doesn't have to work. She paid us back. Which, $500, that's crazy. I wonder what that's like with inflation. They don't want her to be prideful, so they end up giving it to a guy to convince her she's earned it, which she didn't.
I have money. I have money. I have money. Oh, look at this. Oh, hey, look. Oh.
And she ends up spending all the money, which, if you ask me, is irresponsible and definitely the end of the episode. Like, after this, I guess Freddy and Carly are super happy about it. They got a trampoline, but it's still like, why? I would still feel disrespected. I don't know why that would end there. And yeah, Spencer's just like, why is it in my living room? And this is a hilarious end to the episode. So yeah, iOwe, it just feels like it's all the touchstones of the growing pains of characters. And Sam, of all people, just like the rebellious teen being turned into a working class citizen? Yeah, that's iCarly iOwe. This next one is one of my favorites, and I can't believe I forgot this existed. It's called iHurt Lewbert, and the episode is pretty much as described. Carly, Freddy, and Sam play a prank on Lewbert, like literally within the first minute of the episode, and immediately they think they've injured this guy, and not just like a normal injury, but like a full-on life-changing alteration, which, oh my god, it definitely becomes that big of a deal. You know, there's a part where they actually have his wart fly off, land on Carly's shoe, and it just feels uncomfortable that they even did that. Like, I hate that that's even on television.
Oh, his wart.
What about his wart?
Where is it?
Whoa, it's gone!
Oh man, we blew his wart off!
Feeling as guilty as they do, the three end up trying to help Lewbert in his home, but it's disgusting and really uncomfortable.
We brought you some food.
I don't eat nothing unless it's dead!
And this is really fun looking back on after seeing the entire Revival series, which, by the way, you guys should definitely give it a try. I did a couple other videos covering this series, and it's definitely a good one. It adds a lot of context to these situations, which didn't need context, but hey, I mean, if you like iCarly, you'll like this too. She ends up scratching his foot with a fork. Oh my god, you're killing me. In this B-plot, Spencer ends up taking over for Lewbert, which is actually really nice.
Sweet!
Little did I know, after the fan falls on his face, which, by the way, the iCarlys did, he starts crushing on Freddy's mom. Oh my gosh. This is also the intro to Chuck, which, if you remember the show later on, this is like Spencer's mortal enemy. His dad is like this really snobby, polite guy, and Chuck knows how to like be a secret demon, kind of like Megan Parker from Drake and Josh, which is so interesting.
Hey, Sledgehammer and Pork Chop. If you want to find the doorman, he works in an apartment building on the west side of Kennedy Square.
Chuck, put that down.
Yes, Daddy.
Oh, and this kid ends up using Spencer's walkie-talkie to call backup from police, which is insane. This is when Freddy's mom and Lewbert start falling for each other, which, as you also can remember from the future series, continues. I don't know why I feel like seeing Lewbert and Marissa interact. I forgot her name was Marissa, by the way. It's just so funny, especially how Freddy is like freaking out that that Lewbert could be related to him. Sam pantses him, and again, this didn't have to happen. I don't know what the moral of the story of your bully being your best friend is. Like, they just record this whole group dynamic. They kind of pick on Freddy, and poor Freddy is just like, he just wants acceptance. Maybe I'm over-empathizing with him, which is weird because I do feel a little more Carly. Yeah, it's just so weird, honestly, like, didn't have to happen. Why is this a kid show? But yeah, real-world stakes definitely make it more interesting. The fact that these guys could end up together is also really sweet. Freddy, Sam, and Carly basically try to push them apart, and it doesn't end up working until a man actually falls in the lobby, and Lewbert is too selfish to care. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Marissa sees the kind of guy Lewbert is, and it's kind of atrocious. Which I guess the message of the story is, if somebody's really bad, it's okay to treat them bad? Yeah, I don't like the message of this at all. I think they should have ended up accepting Lewbert and then possibly dating, and kind of having it end on a positive note instead of complete chaos. But hey, I'm just a viewer. iPie is a good episode that reminds me of classic iCarly, where they actually have a really nice bakery across their street that has the best coconut cream pie, which is actually a really wholesome idea for an episode. I feel like it draws the community together a little bit more, as opposed to like literally just seeing the episode I Beat the Heat, where they're all trapped in the same building and like they despise each other. There's no actual community.
Ugh, why can't I marry this pie? All I want out of life is to be Mrs. Sam, this pie.
This is like at a state where iCarly is still normal and treats other people like they are still good people, which, oh my god, they just like slowly get worse and worse when it comes to that. Speaking of which, this episode is like all about bad intentions, honestly. So their favorite pie shop is shutting down because the guy died and they don't know the recipe to the pie, so oh well, these guys are super upset because it's the best pie ever, and whew, I really related to this episode because this would cause me also to act insane.
I want pie.
No. No pie.
Why?
We're trying to make it last till Mr. Galini's out of the hospital.
Well... Well, then how come Sam gets some?
Sam doesn't get any.
I decided to share this with you guys.
You already finished it.
Yeah, I decided too late.
Like, they do a whole endeavor to try to find the secret recipe, and honestly, yeah, I am also somebody who, if I really like a dessert, I will do anything for it. I had like a Sesame Street cupcake once a day for like 5 months, and don't challenge me on that. Spencer realizes that the daughter of the pie maker works at the restaurant, is gonna inherit it one day, and she has the recipe but won't give it to him.
It would be so tragic if his pies died with him, don't you think?
Yeah. His pies were tasty.
So Sam, Freddy, and Carly guilt him into going on a date with her, somebody who really doesn't want to be around. And then there's another C-plot about Freddy trying to get the attention of his little cousin, or niece, or nephew, or whatever that is. And when Miss Benson brings him, he can't stop giving Freddy, like, this death stare, which is very scary for a baby. Like, I would feel that guy was cursed. It also reminds me of the episode where Freddy thought he was cursed. It's just in a series of unfortunate events for Freddy that they're just trying to get their Josh Peck out, you know, like from Drake and Josh. That's what it's feeling like for him. And it's like, guys, the comedy's good enough that you don't have to put Freddy through all this stuff. And I feel like they don't even learn that over the years. Like, they end up just treating him worse. So yeah, once they give up on the pies, Spencer realizes that it might actually be in the computer, so they go to the funeral for the sole purpose of getting this recipe, which is very disrespectful if you ask me, especially at an Italian funeral. They end up using the eulogy to stall for time while they steal this recipe. Again, probably the worst characters ever.
Friends, family, lovers of pie. What does it mean to lose someone you're close to? It means you've lost someone that you're close to.
Like, it kind of reminds me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they just, like, have irredeemable qualities, but you care about them getting their goal because they're funny. Yeah, it's weird. Comedy tried to excuse a lot of behavior back then, which I can't tell was, like, genuinely a reflection of, like, how we acted, or they're just playing it up for comedy. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna remember exactly what real life was. I don't know, if that makes sense. Yeah, Spencer has a really funny speech. He cannot even improvise. I wish we could see that skill happen happen a lot more, like him improvising in a lot of situations. They end up finding the pie recipe in the computer, and nobody cares that he's dead. It feels like a celebration. Oh my god, nobody at this funeral cared. They all just like the pie. It makes me feel bad about myself. Oh, and by the end, the baby smiles at Freddy. I didn't realize this was all about Freddy getting the simplest of approval from other characters. All around, iPie is a fun episode. It definitely didn't have to do with the web show at all, but I had a fun time. Now, what about the next episode, iChristmas? The first Christmas episode I think I've seen from a Dan Schneider show. They didn't have one on Zoe 101, not on Drake and Josh. It's really weird to think about, but like they did kind of tiptoe away from that subject. Except for Disney Channel, who had like an even more dodgy relationship with that. Like they try to stay away from any religion, so they just didn't do a lot of holiday episodes. And it's so crazy to think of a time where like now that's just still commonplace. Like why were we overthinking it at that time? They have a Christmas themed web show. Ooh, fun. But the real fun part of this episode is it's almost like the April Fool's Day episode from season 4, which by the way I notoriously hate, but it's actually justifying all the flashbacks, and everything that happens in the episode happens for a reason. It also kind of feels like a redo of the I Dream of Dance episodes of iCarly, where there was this out of control series of dance sequences going on. That was a weird episode. How many times have we done that? Oh, but the episode's kind of sweet because it focuses on Spencer and Carly's relationship specifically, like Spencer ruining everything and Carly like just wanting him to be a responsible adult. And you know, this goes too far when he ends up ruining Christmas. He sets the tree on fire, which is not even the beginning of the ongoing fire joke. So funny, like they started being more intentional with it, but I feel like this is one of like the first starts of it. It's interesting how a joke comes to its origin. Yeah, if I were Carly, I would also be kind of resentful if I had to listen to this guy all the time and I was the one taking care of him. Like, what the heck? So Carly gets visited by an angel, which is just this older man. It's kind of weird. And he takes her on a journey through Christmas alternate universes where Spencer actually went to college. Oh my gosh, and he's married to Miss Benson. This one is a little too far for me. Like given how like frivolous they get with Miss Benson and Spencer later, like it's just so weird to pair them up like that. Oh my god, Freddy has a different girlfriend? What? And Carly's dating Neville, which is really hard to believe. Like, there's no way he went to her school to begin with. I mean, unless he got transferred there in this universe? Dang, kind of an interesting thought, though.
Carly. Neville?
But yeah, like Carly being really upset, like this is a whole character growth episode, which I actually appreciate. Like I said, there's no just random stringing alongs of scenes. Like I like that. Sam is in juvie, which kind of is a little heartbreaking when you think about it. There's not really a goal for this episode, but to just have a Christmas party, or Carly's trying to get out of this illusion. And who is this girl that Freddy is dating? I've never seen her before, and I don't think I'm ever gonna see her again. Carly ends up having a nice little cry, and everything goes back to normal with her having a new appreciation for Spencer and his quirkiness. All around, like, I feel like Carly's dealing with a lot more than she realizes, whether the show shows it or not. All around, really fun holiday special. Even though it's a normal episode, I don't know why we use the term special and don't use it sometimes, but I'm gonna save that for another video in the future. Yeah, Christmas episode. I also feel like this is the quintessential, like, a Christmas episode of a TV show, where, like, sitcoms will just take the main character, give them kind of a situation or a problem to solve, and then going through different alternate realities of their life is, like, the rest of the plot device. Kind of interesting, especially if you're not, like, a sci-fi related show. Like, I don't know why you just let sitcoms get away with it, even if it's not, like, a fantasy.
Why think me?
Because if it wasn't for you, I would have never gotten my wings.
Like, they want us to be grounded, but at the same time, they want to take us out of it. I don't know what I was watching when I was in the 2000s. Now it's time for the quintessential teen love episode. Yeah, iCarly, iKiss. It was such a big event when it first came out, and them actually diving into the love tropes of a Dan Schneider show, this was, like, kind of unheard of. I mean, except for Josh and Mindy, obviously that happened in Drake and Josh, but I guess Zoe 101 was like the closest thing to it with Austin Butler. But those characters felt slightly older. I feel like in iCarly it's different because it's like those middle school, early high school vibes. And they made like a huge deal out of this whole episode, which low-key, they're kind of over-exaggerating. Basically, it's starting with Freddie playing a prank on Sam, and she is furious. Like, literally runs in and, like, tries to kill him because she's attached to Gibby, which she does not like, which I don't know why everybody hates on Gibby. Like, that's so weird.
What prank did you play on Sam?
Open the door!
Call the police.
Come here, Benson!
You handcuffed her to Gibby?
She put a dead fish in my locker.
Gibby's way worse than a dead fish. My mom thinks I'm awesome.
So she vows to get Freddie back. At the same time, him and Carly have an intimate moment where he reveals that he's never kissed anybody before. Oh my gosh. And yeah, Carly does not know what to say. And I'm like, when did Carly ever kiss anybody? Like, I'm so confused. Oh yeah, they share the stories in this episode. Okay, cool. Meanwhile, most random Spencer plot ever, he's trying out to be on a football team. What? So he's trying to be physically fit. Something I was not expecting to see him go through ever. Carly says she's going to devote her life to helping him, which I'm even surprised she thinks he's capable of doing this. This feels so out of his realm. The rest of the episode becomes about this. Instead of Carly later on, it ends up being Gibby, and then it's Gibby and Spencer's first, like, B-plot, which is really fun.
Look, I promised Carly I'd work out with you. So let's do this.
So yeah, biggest plot point of the episode is Sam admitting to the world that Freddie's never kissed anybody. Ooh.
Freddie's never kissed a girl. Never, not once. I heard him say so myself, and Carly's a witness. Okay. Later.
And this is when the tone of the show actually shifts a little bit, because Sam has actually gone too far this time. Nothing that has almost got her into juvie apparently was crossing the line. This is the worst thing she's ever done. Oh my god, even just saying it out loud is kind of crazy. But yeah, even Carly is like, this is a little too far, Sam. And I like a prank gone too far episode. This is what happened all the time when you were a kid. Like, things would just get taken way too far and you'd have to stop doing it. That's all I remember parents yelling at you for. So yeah, everybody kind of gives Sam the cold shoulder, and nobody really knows what to do. Especially because the ball's kind of in her court, and she's not planning on apologizing. This almost feels like a Housewives episode, the way it's like all about kind of her needing to apologize of all things. Carly making her do the show after they had such a bad experience is actually kind of an adult thing to do. Like, I did not expect them to take such a mature route to something like this. So Sam ends up admitting to the world that she hasn't kissed anybody either. Aw, I think that's sweet. So instead of apologizing, I guess she just outs herself. I don't know, outing everybody is kind of weird. Most famous moment in the show is when Freddie's like sitting on the balcony and Sam goes to visit him, only to admit that this was not a lie, that she genuinely has not kissed anybody, and this is the beginning of a really, really stressful arc between two friends and a web show. So they end up kissing, and oh my gosh, of course Freddie has a speaker there to set the mood. I was not expecting that. So yeah, they end up kissing. It becomes like this huge deal later on, but right now it's more kind of like, whatever. This is what we were like in high school too, trying to make sure everything wasn't a big deal and nothing was serious, but then, you know, now we're spending all of our adulthood treating everything when we were little seriously. So I'm kind of confused at our growth as a society, but okay, sure. iCarly, iKiss is an interesting episode all around because they're actually leaning into the fandom of the characters, and honestly, it gets so much worse from here. So this is more of the starting point of a bigger story arc. The next one is my favorite Neville episode. Was that a spoiler? Because I forgot that they didn't mention it in the first part, that he's the one who wins the contest. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's called I Give Away a Car, iCarly's first sweepstakes that they host over the online. I'm sure that's gonna get them in some legal trouble once again. They throw cupcakes against the wall and have them race. It's not that climactic, so I'm gonna skip that. And Spencer ends up getting a real Galaxy Wars Proton Cruiser. Okay, so this little in-universe Star Wars is Spencer's obsession, and yeah, good for him. This one does not have a lot of bearings on the regular plot until the very end, so we'll get back to it. This kid comes to an important iCarly meeting where he's basically like, my dad's gonna give away a car, and you just have to do this really confusing riddle. So they'll put the riddle on the show and whoever comes up with it first wins. Okay, cool.
Here's the brainbuster. A cowboy rides into town on Friday. He stays in town for 3 days, then leaves on Friday. How did he do it?
It's so funny the way they're like unprofessional in the meeting. It's exactly how I expected iCarly to be. Why do they always make the side guy characters that come in for like 1 or 2 seconds super smooth? Like, I'm thinking like Shane, I'm thinking the one-line characters. They just, I don't know why. They seem to air a weird bit of confidence that I've never picked up on. So they do the competition, and then finally when it comes time to announce the winner, they find out that it's Neville Papperman. Ooh, and it's not even an episode based off of Neville, so like the fact that they threw him in there, definitely a fun shock. I love how they put like a digitizing like filter on it to make it look like it's less quality. Like, you know, they film that with studio cameras. So Sam and Freddie go to the car dealership to get the car, get Neville his prize. Turns out this man doesn't even know what they're talking about. Ooh, so they pretty much got scammed by some random blonde kid. I didn't expect him to be the enemy of the entire series. I'm just kidding, he's not. So this guy just has a bunch of funny little quips. It kind of reminds me of the car salesman from the Drake and Josh episode where they buy the car. This is so funny they even had a segment like this. So yeah, Neville comes and they have to explain that they do not actually have a car. The whole thing was a prank, and yeah. So Neville ends up threatening them because this is technically illegal, having been promised something, and yeah, this is why I also don't do a sweepstakes on my channel. Like, I've always been worried about the legal implications.
I entered, and I want a car. And if you don't give me one, I'm going to report you to the LCC for fraud.
Spencer couldn't fit the car in his apartment, so he gets it taken out, which is crazy because most of the episode he's just sitting in it, playing and making sounds. So random.
I'm going in hot!
They end up getting Neville a half beaten up car to try to make up for this whole thing.
Wow. Woo. What is that poop?
And it turns out Neville brings an inspector. Wasn't expecting that. And he says that this isn't a new car, so it doesn't count. Oh my gosh. They realize that Neville set up this entire thing, but either way, it doesn't matter. They still have to get him a vehicle. So they end up using Spencer's Proton race ship whatever thing, because it's a moving vehicle. I guess it counts, and this is so ridiculous. Like, how does Neville even like work with this? And poor Spencer having to lose his new Proton cruiser right after he just bought it. Like, I would be angry, but at least the B-plot made sense going into the whole thing. It's not him learning football. But yeah, all around really fun episode. I like that we're dealing with like internet sweepstakes. It's such a unique concept that is just so normalized now. We forget that these were all new at one point in time. It's almost like an introductory course into the internet.
Say hello to our new best friend, the genius behind Fred, Lucas!
Back in the late 2000s, an unlikely collision rocked teen TV. And his name was, guess what? Fred Figglehorn. Yeah, the guy on the thumbnail of this video. Surprised? You shouldn't be.
So yeah, here's a little DVD preview.
It's Fred!
YouTube's first big viral star with his chaotic, high-pitched antics when crashing into the polished laugh-track world of Nickelodeon and Disney. And it's kind of funny to look back on now, knowing that YouTube is almost the superior streaming platform when it comes to content. So if anything, Fred Figglehorn was in the better place before he moved on to TV. As a middle schooler, I thought TV was the grand scope of everything.
What the heck is this? Ha, you probably thought this was your dad, you loser. Anyways, I told you that I know where you live. P.S. Your voice is weird.
But what was he? He was famous for being this YouTuber that did this squealing, hyperactive 6-year-old alter ego. His name was Lucas Cruikshank, and he played Fred. He was even the first YouTuber to hit 1 million subscribers by early 2009. And of course, TV networks had to take notice. In 2009, the height of Fred's viral fame, he pioneered guest appearances on 2 huge sitcoms. First iCarly and Nickelodeon, and then Hannah Montana on Disney Channel. And these shows I talk about a lot because there's so many similarities to them, mainly because they're about a teen and their experiences in the online universe. And it's interesting, it's a pop culture crossover of epic proportions. The chaotic energy of YouTube invaded the scripted, neon-lit realm of teen TV. The episode setup is delightfully meta. During the iCarly webcast, we have a tech producer, Freddie, offhandedly admits he doesn't watch Fred or find his videos funny.
I didn't say he was unfunny, I just don't love his videos.
Well, apparently Freddy's got his little antibacterial underpants in a bunch.
And this is a big mistake because Fred is in universe a famous internet sensation. Like, he takes offense and dramatically announces on his own channel that he's quitting YouTube.
Now, I'm not gonna post any more Fred videos. Ever again.
Ooh, which is so foreshadowing because people do that all the time. Now people put apologies online, quitting online. Like, I even said happy birthday to my dad online. Like, that's crazy. It's the world we're living in. I wonder if I carried a bit of that mentality too. Like, when there were popular YouTubers like Shane Dawson or any of these other controversial ones, I pretty much played the role of Freddy, where I didn't like anything that was popular at the time. I purposely tried to not like Hamilton when that came out too. I'm like one of those hipsters. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like that too. There's something about the system that you just want to defy. But it was cool that I could relate to him in this moment. So suddenly, everybody at Ridgeway High School turns on iCarly and the whole trio for quote-unquote making Fred quit. It becomes this whole cancellation scandal of iCarly. I wish they called it iCarly, but then again, I guess people didn't really know what that meant at the time. Like, we didn't coin that term yet. It wouldn't count. So the trio are ostracized from their community and classmates because they're all diehard Fred fans, even though we've never mentioned it before. Like, clearly they all watched iCarly, so they were pretty present on the internet. I don't know why they never brought it up before. And Freddy even gets banned from, like, school clubs and everything. It kind of reminds me of me producing my own videos way back when. By the way, if you want to see that, I just put out a new video. I go over a lot of my offensive content from when I was growing up, if you guys want to check that out. It kind of reminds me of what Freddy's going through here. Basically, this whole social apocalypse turns against these people. And of course, Sam isn't having it because Freddy isn't even worth that kind of sacrifice, which is kind of cruel. But they're determined to make things right. I mean, at least Carly and Sam are. They all embark on a mission to track down Lucas Cruikshank, Fred's creator and alter ego, at his home in Idaho. Yeah, they literally road trip to Idaho to apologize to a YouTuber. They end up finding Lucas, and he drops a Scooby-Doo level revelation. He orchestrated the entire feud online as a publicity stunt.
Look, Freddy's really sorry that he hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that from the guy in the Bumblebee shirt.
So Lucas admits he was never really mad at Freddy. The fake quarrel was designed to boost views for both Fred's channel and the iCarly webcast. Huh, interesting.
You know, you could have at least told us what you were doing.
Yeah, you're right.
So that was the huge moral unload. Lucas is famous because he started an online hate group. Interesting.
Refreshing. Yikes, 18,000.
Are you sure?
Refreshing. 90.
Okay, why don't we stop refreshing?
I mean, it just goes to show what we were thinking back then and what we assumed things were gonna be like. To think this was like an acceptable solution, it's like, oh, that's all you were doing. That's great. I would have empathized a little bit more when I knew that Fred was hurt by these comments. But when the air clears because of that, Carly, Sam, and Freddy make peace with him and even bring him onto the iCarly web show. They low-key expose him to the entire world as like, this is Fred, Lucas Cruikshank. Imagine Hannah Montana went on iCarly and they were like, this is Miley Cyrus. And she was like, whoa, wait a minute, that was my secret. But shows don't get that good. It's too much for the internet. Then the episode concludes with a new crossover Fred video in which Carly, Fred, Spencer, Sam, they're all involved. And it's really sweet.
My mother ate my turtle. My bathroom is purple. How do you like me now, Judy? Is Kevin still better than me?
Essentially like a collab. And they all have high-pitched voices, which kind of outs Fred for being his whole gimmick. It's like, anybody can do this. Ooh, too soon? So did this episode feel forced? I mean, a little bit. Fans at the time definitely thought so too. I remember talking to my friends about the fact that it felt like adults were trying to bring us into the TV universe just by bringing on somebody we thought we knew, which could come across as a little bit desperate. But I doubt Nickelodeon actually cared. They just were excited that they got a viral kid on one of their shows to cross-promote. And essentially it says in the episode what they were trying to do. They were just trying to come together and capture each other's audiences. the sweet joint nature of capitalism shine. Overall, the video did feel like it was a 23-minute love letter to Lucas Cruikshank's creation, which is definitely something that pushed TV to its limits. Like, we've had interesting guest stars on old sitcoms, like, TV has been pushed far, but this is like one of the few times that the internet fame bleeds into the broadcast world. With iCarly taking a back seat to another internet phenomenon is really interesting. It's almost like a crossover. But yeah, the episode essentially worships Fred's comedy. Nearly every character except Freddy is obsessed with this screaming chipmunk-voiced kid. The normally independent-minded Carly and Sam spend much of the episode scolding Freddy for not liking him, as if he's suffering this huge moral failure that makes him inadequate to everybody else. Which makes sense for a sitcom like iCarly.
Who threw this low-fat fat cake in my head? Huh? Well, I'm keeping it!
This whole thing felt a little inauthentic. The over-the-top premise left many viewers scratching their heads. Like, was iCarly really telling us that not laughing at Fred's tantrums make you a bad friend? Like, the normally balanced dynamic of the trio felt a little off-kilter in this episode just to squeeze in Fred. In fact, the heavy-handed lesson of it, everybody must love what's popular or else, made iMeet Fred a little bit of infamous. And I'm not meaning infamous as popular, as I've been using it in the past. I mean infamous as really famous for the wrong reasons. It's viewed as one of the show's lesser liked episodes all around, which how are you gonna beat iBloop 2, but whatever. And apparently after the event, even Fred himself, the guest of honor, said he wasn't a fan of the episode, calling it one of the least favorite projects upon later reflection. And it's pretty telling when your guest star looks back and says yikes about this episode. I thought it was actually a lot better than he gave it credit for. Like, his intro to the real world added authenticity to iCarly, his show got a lot more recognition because of it. It just seems like a cool experiment. Like, he is one of the reasons iCarly as a premise became a popular concept. And I like the moments of meta humor. I feel like sometimes it was justified. Like, kind of how Lucas's tongue-in-cheek admission that the feud was for ratings. Like, that's just so real right now. And seeing the normally poised Carly and Freddy on helium voices. Oh wait, Carly was the only one who didn't have a helium voice. Okay, weird. This episode overall required a lot of suspending your disbelief, even by iCarly standards. Next we have the most anticlimactic episode I was expecting ever. It's called iLook-alike, and I just remember them making a huge event out of this whole special on Nickelodeon, as if it were a special, when really it's just a normal episode. I mean, I guess Spencer acts a little bit out of character, but that's not a reason to have a whole promo night on Nickelodeon. Like, what in the world? I feel like they were running out of antagonists at this point, like with Neville and the entire internet being mad at them. It's only natural that they have the new enemies being Spencer and Mrs. Benson. Ooh, I'm excited for this plot. It starts out with a funny prehistoric sketch with all the main cast as prehistoric people, and it's like, what in the world? And how did the production budget get so high for these guys? Like, they have a full-on set, and then they also have outfits. Like, I want to know how much money they're making, because if we just had an episode where $500 to Sam was a huge deal, I don't know what they're doing with these sets. So the cast end up putting up pictures of their lookalikes, which is crazy because Melissa Joe is on this, and she is in Unfabulous, famously a main character, so it's crazy that they're just making her a side plot on a new show's episode, but I digress. So yeah, these guys really look like the main cast. Okay, great. I don't know why they just wanted to show pictures of this. This could have been like a post, but I guess iCarly didn't do posts at that point. It was just video. So the plot kicks in when they're invited to do a wrestling match in Seattle, where they're actually going to cover one of the famous wrestlers. And this is an exciting deal for all of them. I don't know why Freddy and Carly are excited, but yeah, Sam is pumped. So Freddy's mom bursts into his high school, which would be a nightmare if he did that to me. I can't imagine my mom coming to my high school and giving me stuff. I don't know, that's just too far for me. And she finds out that they're trying to go to an MMA fight, and she's super concerned, not wanting them to go. So it becomes like a huge issue. So Carly brings this up to Spencer to actually talk to Mrs. Benson, and he does not like the idea because he doesn't want her to go either. Oh my gosh. So this is a big change of character for Spencer. I remember being really jarred by this experience because I was like, I thought Spencer was one of the kids. But the fact he's setting a boundary as an adult and being like, no, like, like I say you can't go, is super confusing, especially because later they literally go to see Bigfoot. They take him out of school all the time. Like, I don't know why this is the line Spencer's drawn, but okay. So they decide to go to the MMA fight anyway and just use their lookalikes as stand-ins. But Sam lied to them, saying that they're gonna be on iCarly, which is a really disrespectful lie. Like, I would feel so upset if I was here and they told me I was just standing all night. Even if, like, they're not paying you, they're not doing anything. It's like, come on, guys, not cool. And how did they get the outfits that quickly? Like, I'm not gonna question this or pull it apart, but yeah, the point is they look alike, and that's the gimmick. So later at the competition, we see a guy not have his ear, which is disgusting. Oh my gosh. And we meet a pro wrestler who's actually really chill, and they do an episode of iCarly live there on the spot. In the meantime, the lookalikes try to keep up the persona of being Carly, Sam, and Freddie, and I wish I got more lines out of these guys. Are they just extreme improved extras? Because they are not developed characters, even the way One Direction was. Like, they had more lines than these guys, and this is supposed to be central to the plot. The funniest bit is when they're doing these sound bits and trying to make it seem like they're saying it. Like, this is the funniest bit in the whole show for me.
You guys want to watch the movies with me?
You're so funny.
Thanks. It wasn't a joke, really. It was more of a straightforward question.
So later, Spencer shows up to the wrestling match while they're doing iCarly, and this guy thinks he's a threat and throws Spencer against the craft table. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is like the solution of the episode too, out of all things. There's no like repercussions, there's no like understanding the boundaries of parental relationships. It's just they drag Spencer back, they do iCarly anyway, and the episode ends on a very pleasant note, which I was not expecting. I guess they got away with it? And Spencer wakes up in like a daze, not even knowing what to do, and the lookalikes dance with the main cast. Okay, cool, at least the lookalikes got something out of it. All around, like, why was this episode so celebrated as like a special? I'll never know. All I'll see it as is the funniest episode where I got to see lookalikes of the iCarly gang give funny sound quips to Spencer from the door, because that is the best part of the episode, no doubt.
Also, I Go Nuclear from season 2, and this is just out of left field, I feel like. Like, when they have an eco-friendly or Earth Day themed episode, I get a little hesitant, because it's not like we have like a lot of traditions. When we do episodes about holidays that aren't necessarily holidays, it feels like very, very Western culture-y.
What happened to you? What happened? I tried to make an electric scooter to cut down on the need for gasoline-powered transportation.
I mean, it's funny because it all happens in an ironic way, like Carly Shay nearly committing environmental felony. And I don't know, it's just so crazy.
You're a criminal.
What?
So the plot is that there's Green Week at school and Carly has to help create a project that benefits the environment. So our girl Carly, eager to impress and procrastinating, builds an electric scooter, and it's a bust. The thing goes 4 miles per hour, spontaneously catches on fire. It's kind of crazy. It even reminds me of like a Victorious out-of-the-box gag. She gets a weekend extension to do a little bit better, and she enlists a cute science geek named Cal to help her build a generator to power the iCarly studio, which is a really cool concept. I love that they're able to wrap the web show into the narrative and somehow make a green, eco-friendly episode without being too preachy. It's very grounded in that sense. In Zoe 101, Miranda Cosgrove makes an appearance, and she's like this scientific genius, even like challenging Quinn from the main cast. And the plot is that they found a way to also use an eco-friendly generator to power the entire campus of PCA, which is funny because I never realized how close in nature these two episode plot lines are, with Miranda Cosgrove playing the girl as the main character. It's just funny to me. Because they also end similarly. Like, Carly runs this nuclear reactor to light up some Christmas lights. She ends up getting an A+, but the government shuts everything down because it's against the law for a teenager to have a uranium-powered generator in her apartment. Ugh, how is Cal getting this uranium? What does Cal do in his daily life that makes this something he was able to accomplish? I mean, they're 14, 15. So moral of the story is don't do too much research when you're doing your eco-friendly project. I don't really know why this episode needed to happen. I feel like if, gun to my head, I had to choose 5 episodes of iCarly to take off the existence of the planet, this would be one of them. But I really hope you guys don't do that. Please don't do that to me. And the threat of her having to go on this root and berry retreat as a punishment isn't that dramatic. Like, I don't see her actually being harmed for it, so like, I don't mind if this doesn't work out for her. And of course we get a teacher that I'm not really used to seeing here. Like, I don't know why he just comes in for this episode. I mean, it was probably before they decided, like, everybody that was a mainstay on iCarly versus, like, not. The B-plot's not as interesting. It's like Freddie and Sam building this labor-intensive composting project, with Sam doing nothing to contribute to it, which is not that surprising. And then Freddie ends up getting a D- and Sam gets an A for essentially doing nothing. Yeah, it's one of those kind of episodes.
Bravo! Bravo, Sam! No!
And if you're thinking, it sounds a little mean-spirited, you're right. iGo Nuclear is infamous for its unpleasant tone and nonsensible message. Like, I saw fans online call it out for being one of the worst episodes of the whole series. And Carly casually building a nuclear generator in a kid's sitcom? That's already bizarre. It's a wild plot, even for iCarly standards. And that's saying something. Viewers had to seriously suspend their disbelief, even if we couldn't. And the second is the tone. Carly and Freddie, who work hard on these projects, get screwed over while Sam slacks off and gets rewarded. It's very cynical, and the vibe is just giving me mixed messages. Like, I feel weird about showing this to my son or daughter. But hey, it was 2009, I guess. It's like an anti-lesson episode. I'm not gonna lie, some of the bits are so ridiculous that they are pretty amusing, like Carly riding the rebuilt electric scooter and screaming, "I'm helping the environment," only for it to set on fire. Like, that's funny. I like that, and as a kid, I thought that was probably hilarious. And I guess if you like dark humor, the idea of Carly nearly contaminating half of Seattle is kind of funny in, like, a twisted way. Either way, the amusing bits don't really save the episodes. They just give me a reason to explain why I wasted 20 minutes of my time. And the moral lesson, trying too hard makes you lose. Doing nothing gets you an A is just, I don't know. It's just not helpful. I can't help but wonder if this was like a forced episode from Nickelodeon to celebrate Earth Day, but then I can't believe that that would even be like a thing. I don't remember. It's an unforgettable misfire, to say the least. One that unironically keeps the iCarly fandom talking about the show's lows as well as highs. So just remember, kids, don't try this at home. Seriously, you leave the uranium to the professionals. Cal. Oh, and before we jump off this, can we talk about how much this environmental teacher is being mocked just for caring about the environment? Like, they treat him like he's some hippie nut job. And it kind of reminds me of Psychowitz. Like, seeing him eating at the Groothy smoothie with Carly, Sam, Spencer, like, that's also inappropriate outside of school.
The next one is another internet consequences episode, as if they weren't all that. But these are all, like, exciting concepts, so I'm excited to see it. It's called iRocked the Vote. And this is the one with the famous singers. It's like kind of a parody of American Idol, and Carly and Sam and Freddie all watch this show. So it actually does kind of have an impact. The episode starts out with them as trolls, and I don't know if there's like an internet troll reference or what. Did I say this is so funny? It's actually so average. I can't believe they just put on wigs during this web show and expect that to be entertainment. Like, the internet was such low quality. Like, this is AI slop back in the day. So they make an announcement on the show right off the bat that they want David Archuleta to win American Idol, which was kind of a real thing going on at the time, so it is kind of meta they were even doing it. Oh, they call it America Sings, okay.
David!
He's not gonna win.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah, so when they're all gathered around to watch it, like we never do anymore, why can't we just gather around the TV as a family and watch stuff? Never mind, I'm not gonna get into it. Yeah, so they end up actually winning and persuading the entire country to vote for David Archuleta, which is really crazy. And the fallout from this is essentially what the entire episode is, which is really unexpected.
Would have been nice to win. See, my mother's been ill,
And I was going to use the money from the recording contract to help her get the surgery she needs.
So they talk about iCarly on the news, saying that this is essentially the sole reason he won. Can't be because he's a good singer, I guess. I don't know why they couldn't attribute it to that. And yeah, people start hating on iCarly. The B-plot's kind of funny, and it's funny that Sam has a hand in both the side and the main plot. But Spencer doesn't know how to lie, which is not necessarily a bad attribute. And Sam is like, I'm going to teach you how to tell the perfect lie. And we get some really funny jokes out of it.
God, are you all right?
No!
I better call the cops.
Okay, and when you get him on the phone, make sure you tell him that I'm lying.
Right. Hey, my little sister's friend just got... I'll call you back.
Meanwhile, they bring the competitor Wade Collins onto iCarly to kind of make light of the whole situation. It's another diva episode, which they do this with the I Fix a Pop Star, and this is like kind of a different angle on it, but like earlier than that episode. I don't know, they're both kind of at the iCarly's golden era, so I like both of them. Gibby ends up being his assistant, and this guy is not respectful to Gibby.
Mr. Collins doesn't want you to talk to him directly.
Fine. Just tell him what I said.
Okay. Mr. Collins.
Tell the director I'll be ready when I'm ready and to get out of my face.
Like Hobknocker, and yeah, I remember this as a kid being like, oh, it's a bad word on a kid's show. Like, that's super fun. So they kept saying it all throughout the episode.
I swear, you're all just a bunch of hobknockers.
Hobknockers?
All around, like, using the hype of American Idol was such a fun idea, especially since reality TV was so normal back then. So Wayne's a jerk, and iCarly already promised they were gonna make a music video for him to bring him back into the limelight, and it's like, oh no. So he starts acting like a diva. This whole experience is ruined for Freddie, Sam, and Carly, and it's like they don't even want to do it anymore. There's no heart in this. He even brings in his mother to find out that he lied about her surgery. She doesn't actually have any condition. Oh my god, this is really a thing.
On America Sings, you said your mother was gravely ill and needed surgery.
Yeah, I said that to get sympathy.
You silly Americans are suckers for a good sob story.
That's pretty much where iCarly has had it. Meanwhile, we see Spencer actually try to implement his lying skills to the girl at Blockbuster. Obviously, Blockbuster was copyright, even though it was probably out of commission like years before. Did they use this set for a comedy sketch and all that? That's what I'm thinking. Do you remember those guys?
No, because I did return the video.
Oh, you did?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't return the video.
So yeah, he can't lie, so he just ends up admitting the truth really quickly, and it's a super funny episode. I love that he's doing that. In the end, iCarly brings on David Archuleta because they just don't like Wade Collins, so they kind of publicly trash him right on the show. Okay. And then they show his music video, which ends up just highlighting his worst qualities. Exactly what you would want to happen when he gets his comeuppance.
I want money!
And you think David Archuleta's about to sing, but they say he has a sore throat. So wow, real convenient, guys. At least this is like the era where they weren't just spending 3 minutes of an episode's plot singing. I'm looking at you, Victorious. All around really fun episode. I like that we actually deal with the consequences and fallout, and then we also get to meet some celebrities and actually talk about a cultural phenomenon that was going on, which was reality TV competition shows. Cool. At the very end, they give away Wade Collins' apartment number, which is like where he's staying, and honestly, this feels like a little bit too far, especially if you know how fandoms are nowadays. Like, he's famous enough where like he might get like dead. I don't know why they did that at the end. That was a little too far, but all around cool episode. The next episode we have is iMake Sam Girlier. We start off with Carly planning Sam's birthday. Ooh, Sam's birthday, that's fun. Freddie is trying out some new technology that could tell you if you're coming down with something, and it just tells him he has a bloody finger, which is actually really funny. Spencer's plotline's introduced in this, which is just he has a lucky tuxedo that apparently attracts the ladies and does all these sorts of positive things for him. It kind of reminds me of the sweater episode of Drake and Josh, which wouldn't be super surprising if they just copy and pasted that script. I swear I wouldn't even notice. Then we get a funny segment on iCarly called I'd Morph That, and it's so disturbing. All these normal pictures turn into animals? I don't know why, it's just creepy. So the surprise happens live on iCarly, which is actually a really great idea. Carly gets a bunch of kids from her school to all surprise her, and yay, she's so excited. So the party gets really interesting when they essentially do a roast. Like, it starts out as a toast, and Carly's just saying she's grateful for her friendship, but then everybody keeps having some comedic beats, so it's so confusing.
Sam, first, happy birthday. You're my best friend in the
the whole world and the funniest person I've ever met.
Yeah, Sam! Ow!
And yeah, Gibby's here. This is like the quintessential Gibby without a shirt era that everybody talks about so much. Spencer reveals that the lady he went on a date with didn't actually go well because he didn't wear his tuxedo. Oh my gosh. So yeah, apparently that luckiness really did rub off. We find out that Sam has a crush on this guy at their school. Carly even invites him to her party. Oh, that's fun, but it definitely creates an issue when they're roasting her all in front of him. Like, I would be upset too. Do you ever feel like when you're like in a group of friends and then they just start roasting you and you're like, I don't really know what to do about this? Like, Sam goes about it in a pretty civil way. Like, she doesn't lash out, she's not aggressive, she's just hurt, which is interesting for her character. She doesn't usually get like that, so like the fact she's silent around her friends is interesting. Carly actually like pries to get her to admit that something's up, which I think is a really nice friend. I definitely feel like if your friend's going through something and they don't want to talk about it, it's nice to at least like encourage them to speak. The boy Sam likes ends up giving a speech also at this event, making her feel really self-conscious and that like she's not girly enough. Okay,
I know that if I ever get in a fight and I can have either the football team or Sam back me up, I'm going with Sam. You are one bad dude.
So she begs Carly to help her become girlier. Meanwhile, there's a bully going around at the school, which actually contrasts Sam not wanting to be a bully anymore. Like, it's perfect because somebody takes over her spot. She's like getting rid of stuff in her locker, and this girl is so aggressive too. I can't believe like she can even stand up to a teacher. This is just a really funny joke for me. So yeah, after Carly agrees to help Sam do a makeover, which I feel like I've seen an episode like this before. Oh yeah, when she was dating Jonah in season 1. Oh my god, it's been so long since I've been in season 1, but yeah, I'll go there soon. Carly uses Freddy as a way of like checking if Sam is actually going to be able to change her attitude, and it's so funny that she has to like put a paper bag over his head. And yeah, Spencer ends up starting to wear the suit because the date didn't go well earlier unless he's wearing a suit, so he keeps wearing it, and it's really stressful to watch because it's like it's summer right now, and it definitely doesn't make me feel good to watch a man in a suit.
You have to cool off and
Leave me
breathe.
be! Leave me be!
You're wearing the tux?
Oh, that's weird.
Sam literally has to beat up Freddy. It just shows like it's really hard for her to change her personality for anything, so like how are they gonna go through with this whole ordeal? She ends up doing it anyway, and she wears pink and shorts, and it's just so interesting. They even mention that she wears panties, which does not need to be in there. I can't believe they even talked about it, but whatever, it's a teen show. I guess I can excuse it? I don't know. So she tries to impress the guy with her new outfit, and he's really into it. Oh, that's sweet. So yeah, they share a moment, and Sam realizes she's gonna commit to the bit for a while, until things start pushing her to go back to her normal ways. Like the bully from earlier I was mentioning, her name's Jocelyn, and she goes so far as to push Sam. Oh my gosh, how does Sam not react to this? Until she pushes Carly, and things go really heavy. And Sam finally breaks the persona to just stand up to her. Oh my god, and this all goes down to the Groovy Smoothie of all places. I don't remember plots going down there. And yeah, Sam just ends up forgetting her whole personality, going back to who she truly is, and beating somebody up. Why in the world does this show have to be pro-bullying? Like, I don't get it. 2 bullies, like there has to be one on top at all times. It's just unnecessary to me. It is crazy how hard Sam goes in on switching her personality and how good she is at maintaining it. You know, like she could have fought Jocelyn so much earlier, but she never really did, making it clear that she's got a lot of self-control. Sam's got a lot of really interesting episodes in season 2, like not only just this, but the iTwins episode. Like, I can't believe how much they explore this character in this season. I'm really excited about it though. Spencer and this girl end up not working out, especially since he can't go anywhere without the tux, and she admits that it's true, she only liked him for the tux. They kiss, and that's how that plot ends. Oh my god, thank god that's not the main plot, because that was depressing. I can't believe that was even a story. All around good episode. Sam got to impress a guy and be herself, and yeah, really good time. It ends with a weird commercial while the credits roll, and oh my gosh, I can't believe they're in Freddy's bed. This is a really funny bit though. The most interesting thing about this episode order rewrite is that I Date a Bad Boy Part 1 actually happens 5 episodes in between this and Part 2. So let's start with the first one.
This whole trope going around in the 2000s where guys thought it was cool to be emotionally distant to their counterparts, and that's just the appeal of the times, I guess. So Spencer's motorcycle gets stolen by a new boy in building named Griffin. Carly strongly dislikes him, and Spencer takes Griffin under his wing, much to her dismay. In a short time span, she grows to like him and actually kisses him. After Spencer walks in on them kissing, he grounds iCarly till college. Carly deceives Spencer and tries to see Griffin at any time possible. Eventually, he gives his blessing and allows them to see each other. This whole first episode is very similar to the Hannah Montana one. He's kind of a delinquent. He and Spencer are enemies, which is so funny that this grown man has an enemy like that. Like, that's so funny. Spencer firmly disapproves of this relationship. And yeah, that just becomes the whole two-part episode. Actually, I lied. So Spencer and Carly argue pretty much, until Spencer full-on threatens him, and then Carly ends up actually dating him. Oof, a lot of drama for a Nickelodeon show. Like, they don't usually do relationship drama. I mean, not as much as Disney Channel. These guys are usually episodic storytelling, like ending at the end of the episode.
iReunite with Missy is actually a really special episode, especially since we've been seeing a lot more of Sam in general. Like, we see a lot of sides of her. Spencer's going out with Sako on a camping trip, and oh my god, I miss Sako so much. I miss him being mentioned, and I wish he was in the revival more. That would be awesome. He says they're going with 2 girls and their grandmother, so it's like, what in the world? Spencer just doesn't even think about that being like an issue. Like, I don't know why. That's just so funny to me. Sam ends up ripping Freddy's clothes, which definitely feels like it's crossing a line for me. I don't know why they let her go so far as to do that, but okay. So out of the blue, a new friend comes into the fray, meeting Carly Shay once again. Apparently her name is Missy, and they knew each other when they were little. They have a lot in common because their dads were both in the military together, so they have a lot of really nice memories. Aw, very sweet. And I always got this girl confused with another girl in the school, just because they're both redheads, which is definitely on me. I'm sorry, redhead community, because I just messed up there. And so yeah, they become really good friends, and it starts to become a third wheel episode with Sam not knowing how they're gonna fit in together. In the meantime, the school announces they're doing a cruise giveaway, something that everybody writes on their board, and the winner gets to go 6 months on a cruise, which sounds like torture to me. Imagine this was like a crossover between the Sweet Life on Deck and iCarly, iDeck, or I on Carly. Wait, what? No, never mind. In the B-plot, Spencer goes to the storage down below, which is kind of cool. I don't think I remember seeing this area yet. And he ends up falling under a bunch of different storage stuff. For the rest of the episode, he's pretty much trapped. It's another one of the trapped episodes. He can't reach his phone, and things get so much worse when this kid shows up. You may recognize him. His name is Chuck, and him and Spencer have some beef, and this is the episode that really kicks it off. So Chuck forces him to stay in the cage. I don't know how Spencer doesn't fight this so quickly, and starts squirting him with different liquids, which becomes a huge issue. And yeah, he's essentially tortured throughout this whole episode. It feels like a government thing. As Carly and Missy start getting a lot closer, Sam is getting a little bit more jealous. At first she's not, but Missy invites them to go on a plane trip, and Sam just doesn't show up. And they're like, why isn't she here? Turns out she gave Sam the wrong info, and then breaks her phone. Oh my gosh, and Carly can't pick up on this, and neither can I. Like, I'm not sure if I believe Sam either as the audience member, so it does make it more interesting to watch for a while. Later, she gives her chocolates to make up for the fact, but that actually makes Sam super sick, and she starts to go to Freddy and be like, dude, something is up. Which is interesting, she's like confiding in him. Like, that's actually really important, especially when it comes to their relationship. Missy steps in and is like, okay, I'll do iCarly this week. Which you guys told me before that you have to rehearse a lot to do this show. Like, why can you just throw someone in and act like it's nothing? Especially seconds before the show. Like, I would just cancel it for real. So yeah, Carly and this girl get really close, and it's actually kind of sweet, and Sam starts to try to tell Carly what's up, but Carly just doesn't believe her. She thinks she's jealous. Aww. Meanwhile, Chuck gets really aggressive with Spencer, and it's just like concerning because it's apparently multiple days at a time. Sam's paranoia is put to rest when Missy actually confronts her and tells her her intentions, which are to steal Carly from her. What? Do people actually do this kind of thing in real life? Yeah, I don't think that directly, at least. Her and Freddy have a moment where he actually is like, why should I trust you? And she's like, I came to you, which she would never do. And honestly, this kind of heartfelt moment is very sweet and genuine, and something you would never see in the later seasons of iCarly. This is like what made the original show like so good. Like, this is the peak era for sure. Missy ends up winning this dream cruise and tells Sam that she's just off on her own, but Carly overhears her be a horrible person to Sam, and yeah, the true colors show, and Carly just kicks this girl out of her life, which is kind of sad, and she sticks up for Sam, and yeah, definitely a good episode when it comes to Sam. Like, she's definitely the victim of the situation, and I like that you don't think so at first until the very end. We learn later that Freddie was actually the one who gave away his spot to the cruise just to keep Sam happy. Aw, that's actually really nice. So they end up all being like a really good friend group by the end of this, and nobody's irresponsible. Oh, and the girl shows up that I got Missy confused with. Okay, yeah. She comes in and has a couple of lines throughout a couple of episodes, so this appearance isn't super abnormal, but it is funny that I keep getting them confused. We see Missy just throwing up off the boat during her cruise. Turns out she's not having a good time, and that's how the episode ends. The green screen's not too bad right here. I definitely think she's on a boat, but poor girl, like, definitely ended bad for her. Then again, she did have bad intentions, so it's not like I'm vouching for her, but yeah, it does suck how it transpires. iCarly was not shy of doing fan favorite characters coming back, and I forgot this was even any kind of favorite. It's the girl Mandy from season 1. Basically, iCarly had this biggest fan named Mandy, and she wore a duck mask and ran around being quirky because iCarly inspired her, which, by the way, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, to think that somebody's personality is built around randomness and spontaneity along with, like, random duck voices, like, why is that not an iCarly personality right there? Of course she likes the show, so the fact that they diss her for liking it and find her annoying is really stressful for me. They do a sketch about a toilet and chicken noodle soup. I don't know what these kids' budget are, but like, this is ridiculous. They have Gibby on the show, which is nice because it's like starting to have Gibby in it more, like he was a part of the B-plot a couple episodes ago, and really like seeing him in like these small doses make the show a lot of fun. They bring on a girl just to prank her on the show, which is very disrespectful, like the iLookalike episode. Like, I don't know why you guys bring them on here just to disrespect them, but then again, it is a web show. I feel like that is like 90% of what goes on web shows. The whole episode is Spencer gets a new credit card, so they lose the domain name to iCarly.com, and it actually becomes a huge deal, which they don't really explain why it's a huge deal. Like, personally, I know it's because they don't have the actual name. You know, you could just rename it something else, but since their fan base is attached to the original domain, like, that's really important. They learn that Mandy bought it up.
Somebody named Amanda Valdez.
Amanda Valdez? Who's...
Oh, here, there's a photo on her profile.
Well, click it.
I am. Here.
Oh my gosh, and she's back and more annoying than ever, which again, not really respectful to say. This girl's on the internet too, talking about her experience on iCarly, which I find really fun. I love it when they like talk about their experiences on the show, especially when it's like a random side character. Spencer accidentally orders an infinite amount of pillows, and it's like all Spencer buying stuff and dealing with them later. Like, it's crazy he has like a lot of single person plots, like just him involved. Like, there's no other girls, there's no other, it's just Spencer in his own life. I kind of feel bad for this guy. He's definitely seeming really lonely. Is anybody gonna give him attention?
I just ordered 2 pillows.
No, you ordered 200 pillows.
200? What person orders 200 pillows?
You.
So Mandy starts acting like a full-on manager and having creative say in the sketches live as they go on, and this is so funny to me. I don't know why, like, live commentary is just hilarious. Tebow's in this episode, which is fun. I like that he becomes a more mainstay part of it with bagels, and this actually makes sense, unlike the tacos he has later.
You guys want some bagels?
No, thanks.
$1 a piece.
We don't want any bagels.
I sell you the whole stick. $5.
Spencer goes fishing with the pillows, and I gotta stop covering his plots. These are so ridiculous. They have him dress up as a woman to try to get Neville. Oh my god, by the way, yeah, Neville is the one behind taking the domain name, of course. There's only one singular guy that cares about the attention that iCarly gets. Why can't it just be like another sponsor or like people trying to get at them? Like, it's just Neville from Nevelocity, which, by the way, forgot he even had a website. Like, he starts out as like this brainiac kid that has his own website, made his way, and then he turns out to just be a flanderized jerk throughout the rest of the show. But hey, what else is a Dan Schneider show gonna do? So Spencer dresses as an old lady to try to get him to sign the documents, giving back the website.
Are you an evil paper man?
and then he gets hit on by this old man. Oh my gosh, the disguise doesn't work, and this whole thing was all for naught, which so funny. The old man follows him back to the apartment. Wasn't expecting that. And he says he wants a kiss from Carly in order to get the website back. And this is, oh my god, this is so blackmail, it's like not even funny. And you know what, if this were like modern day, this would be beyond, like, cops would be all over this. At least I would hope. They end up attaching Carly to a harness, which wasn't introduced at the rest of the episode. It just kind of was random, and they got the document signed, which, okay, I feel like wasn't in good faith. Like, I don't know how they are gonna get away with this, but you know what, the episode ends here, and I'm not gonna question it. All around, Mandy doesn't have a place here anymore. I can't believe she was just a setup for Neville once again. Like, bring other characters back and have them longer. Like, Mandy should have been a bigger part of this episode, but okay, whatever. That's just how it goes. The next episode we have is I Must Have Locker 239, which is one of the most forgettable episodes I could remember. Not that it's bad, it's just, it feels like a season 1 episode in terms of its stakes. Like, not a lot is important, it's more so about this locker winning experience. Spencer and Carly have the main plot, which is weird because it's named after the Freddie and Sam plot, but whatever, let's get into it. It starts with an iCarly segment where they all have to draw a bunny, and everybody but Carly draws it really well. And we're gonna make fun of her, but you know, what the heck. It's not that big of a deal. And I don't believe that Sam or Freddie drew the other ones. Like, you had to have gotten professional animators on that, huh? The bunny does look funny though. Carly's is definitely one for the laughter. So she makes it her goal to start getting better at art because she's so embarrassed about this bunny, which I did not expect the rest of the episode to start taking over. And Spencer's a little bit insulted that she won't ask for his help of all things. He asks if she went to his room and she says no suspiciously, which is like, what's in there? And he tries to encourage her about the bunny she created, but he's not doing a good job. He definitely thinks it's not good, which doesn't make any sense because art is subjective, and I think he knows that.
Forget it.
No, this isn't bad.
It's not?
No, it's bad.
So later he starts to get super artistic and mentors her as to create something really impressive with, his foot, of course. He runs in super late at night, apparently stepped in something, and he wants her to draw it, which doesn't even end up happening. She just runs away uncomfortable, which so would I. Then we get back to the regular plot. Gibby's shirtless at school, which I don't know how this doesn't cross a line, like, what's going on here? And we learn that locker 239 is the most impressive locker in the whole school. It's almost like a double locker, which I get that there's like location benefits and everything, but I've never heard of like a double locker. That just seems super unfair.
What a locker.
I know.
It makes me feel sad for lesser lockers.
I could fit a whole editing bay in there.
You could fit a body in there.
And Freddie is like, I deserve that locker. And Sam is just like, I want it. So Principal Franklin has everybody guess how many fat cakes are in this jar, which is so funny. He kind of calls out Gibby for a moment. It's a very cynical and rude joke that I don't think a principal should make, but then again, it is kind of funny. He's like, you gotta get checked.
Gibby, you have a question?
Yes. How many fat cakes are in that tank?
And I don't know why he thinks it's necessary to take off his shirt and rub up against the thing, but okay, I could see why the actor Noah Monk didn't want to be shirtless for most of iCarly after this, yeah. So we jump back to Carly and Spencer, where Carly's like, I'm gonna start taking a class so that way I can figure this out on my own, like your kind of art is not meant for me, and he gets really bitter about it immediately. So there's tension between the two, which I get. If one of my best friends went to get like video making advice to somebody else, I feel like I would be kind of hurt. So she starts going to secret classes on her own, which he is not a fan of. So he decides to follow her to the class, which is actually a really funny concept. And he starts undermining the teacher any chance he can, which kind of looks sexist just because it's like, he's just assuming she doesn't know how to do art. I mean, she is dressed pretty business-like to be an art teacher. I don't know why she would be doing that. Later, it turns out Freddie and Sam both win the locker, so they have to share it. Oh my god, of all two people, can you imagine? I just like that Freddie was like convinced he found the right number and did all this hard work to get it, and then Sam just like kind of guessed essentially and got it as well. Like, it's so funny how both of them like work toward things and just get it. So the whole hanging out at the locker becomes ridiculous. And this locker is like 4 stories. Like, this is not just a double locker. Sam starts having people over as if it's like an apartment. and playing Guitar Hero, which is just an off-brand Guitar Hero. Like, this isn't even actually it. And the two get into arguments like an old married couple, which is definitely a funny concept. Freddy is so good at being like the straight man next to like a crazy character, and he ends up getting in trouble with the teacher. Oh my god, this show is so funny. This is also probably why the reboot doesn't work super well, because like without that dynamic, it's hard to like take Freddy super seriously. And he just seems to be the wacky one in the new reboot, which is also kind of like a weird chemistry issue. So Spencer and this art teacher really get into it and start fighting with different paint. Okay. And then, yeah, next thing you know, she shows up and the two fall in love. Okay, yeah, another girl that Spencer's never gonna see again. Great. Freddy and Sam barely make up. They just basically stop fighting over the locker because Freddy pays her to leave, and she just takes it and is okay with it. And then next thing you know, a car comes through the building. I don't know what the odds of that were, and it destroys the locker. So Freddy just wasted all his money, Sam got away with it, and leaves. And it turns out to be Sam's mom, so it's kind of funny that, like, we don't get to see her. I just like to imagine Jane Lynch was in that car. And yeah, so Freddy really got tortured throughout this episode. Oh well. All around really funny sitcom episode, you know?
iFight Shelby Marx is the 21st episode of iCarly Season 2, and it's so funny thinking about this episode in retrospect, especially given the fact that we eventually got iParty with Victorious. When this show was on, you were just thinking, like, that's Victoria Justice. Is she gonna reference her character? And this is the episode that almost disproves, like, that whole thing. Like, this is why I thought there would never be a crossover episode. When I was looking on the internet for updates about, like, when they're doing that new 90-minute crossover special, that was such a time. But yeah, iFight Shelby Marx was something that made me feel like that would have never happened. So basically, the gang watches this girl, Shelby Marx. She's so funny that they tune into wrestling. Like, when would any of those characters be into wrestling? And they're obviously cheering for Shelby Marx, this girl that only exists in this episode and won't be referenced again. On the iCarly web show, Sam basically challenges Shelby Marx to a fight, pretty much referencing the Logan Paul thing that happened way back when. I'm not sure if you guys remember that. I don't really remember it, so look it up. I don't know. And yeah, basically, Carly threatens Shelby Marx through Sam's voice, and Shelby Marx literally shows up at her house. She's worried that Shelby Marx is going to beat her up, and it sounds like a comic book character name. The more I say it, Shelby Marx. I can't even believe this. They take Shelby Marx really seriously too. Like, Victoria Justice is this character. Another reason why I can't believe in retrospect we're gonna have to go to iParty with Victorious. It's so annoying. It almost dates this episode so hard. But basically, Carly and her decide to do a collab. Oof, I like that these two-part episodes are like based off a collab with like another person. It's such an interesting way to raise the stakes in their community. Like, it seems like these kids are going through like really adult-like situations just through their social life. Oh gosh, to be an influencer nowadays, can you imagine? Everybody is promoting this Shelby Marx fight, and Carly's not worried because she's like, oh, obviously Shelby's a nice person, she's not gonna hurt me. And then Carly gives her reason to. In the funniest part 1 finale of a special like this, Sam accidentally threatens her grandmother. Carly literally falls on Shelby Marx's grandmother, making it look like she actually attacked her. So Shelby Marx says she is going to essentially beat up Carly. And it kind of reminds me of that SpongeBob episode where there was that bully, the Tattletale Strangler. Yeah, that's what this reminds me of, like this looming threat over Carly of getting beaten up. It also happened on an episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody at one point, but the fact that they put that in a 2-part episode, like her feeling threatened by this girl, that's the kind of intense plot. I would be scared too, especially if like she was like a big influencer or somebody with a louder voice than mine in the community and she like calls me out. I don't know, I'd be like scared. So yeah, they try to cancel the fight. One thing leads to another. Neville actually gets involved, helps Shelby Marx actually go through with challenging Carly, and oh my gosh, it's so funny. I actually forgot that Neville would be a part of this, so like just the fun fact that like he comes quarter of the way toward the end and he's already like such a big threat. He's like the promoter at the wrestling area. Like, what is this about? It's funny watching it be so performative because it does remind me of like a UFC fight or like some of those wrestling things that go on TV nowadays. Yeah, like that's actually a thing that exists. So seeing Carly in this universe is kind of funny. The stakes of the web show aren't really the issue. It's more that Carly's worried she's going to die and runs out of the rink. It's such a funny way to end this special. But point is, they get along at the end, they make up, and they confront Neville, finally putting an end to this whole special. And I like this one a lot. It was definitely at the peak of iCarly, and one of the funniest cliffhangers ever is Carly pushing over Shelby Marx's grandmother. That is hilarious.
One 10-foot-tall iCarly award.
No, we said 10 1-foot-tall iCarly awards.
The iCarly Awards episode is probably one of my favorites because it takes that whole single event over the course of an entire episode. It's a bottle episode, essentially, with formal outfits, a special iCarly episode. It's just all really cool. Immediately, we're met with conflict in the episode when we find out Spencer was supposed to make all the trophies, but made one huge one instead, which genuinely freaks out Carly, because obviously it's starting to go bad already. So he sets out to make it up to her by coming up with a bunch of these trophies with these hot European models.
You said hot European swimsuit models.
Ah, I didn't say they were hot.
Yeah, and you didn't say they were dudes either.
And it's like, what is even going on here? So yeah, throughout the episode, Spencer's teaching them to make art, and it's kind of beautiful in a way. But he has to be really disruptive when he delivers them in the middle of every segment they have for the iCarly Awards. Kind of fun.
Gimme!
So Sam and Carly obviously are the hosts, and they're having a good time playing it up, making fun of normal award show hosts. The thing I feel like is the most sweet about this episode is that they use actual kids' videos that were submitted, and it feels like they're hyping up people all around the world. You know, something that would never happen in the later seasons of iCarly. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it again. They do ruin this good deed, though, when they bring them on for 2 seconds, don't let them speak, and then push them off stage.
We all wrote little speeches, so should we go? Take care now. Yeah, thanks, you guys. Take care. Get the best. Take good care of yourself.
Like, I don't know, that just gives me an icky vibe. Gibby is hilarious in this episode, essentially presenting the entire show with them. I love that. They let Freddie host for a moment, and that feels really nice, but you know, it's very short-lived. There's not much conflict to report about beside that. They just do the end of the episode like normal.
Because it's time for us to start presenting the next iCarly Award.
Yes, it is, Carly. Next.
Back behind the camera, tech boy.
There's no respect.
But I do like that Spencer's B-plot is worked into the main story. All around, really fun time. I remember definitely liking this more than most episodes. I was just all around pleasantly surprised with how in I was on this whole gimmick. It really makes me extra sad for the iBloop episodes. Like, I feel like these definitely outshine them in a number of ways. The next episode is the epitome of a Freddy Gaslight episode. Like, there is no mistaking for how far these girls push him in this. It's called iTwins. It starts out with a normal iCarly episode, at least at first.
And here comes the big rock.
I don't know how much that was supposed to cost, but that looks expensive. And then they play a video where they tricked Freddy into thinking he had to wear a clown outfit to school, which how in the world would you have not thought of that? But, you know, I'm not gonna blame the victim here. Freddy is, like, super upset about it, and they call him the most gullible guy on Earth, which is insane, and definitely sets up what's about to happen. So Sam and Carly are acting super reclusive around him, not answering any of his questions, only to find out that Sam has a sister, and he's like, yeah, real funny, okay.
Because we look identical. They're twins.
Oh, twins! Twins!
She has a twin sister, and it barely comes up, but in this one episode, it does. He's pretty certain that they're fooling him. This is just another attempt to call him crazy, which, honestly, it's super believable. Since Carly is taking more of the B-plot, we have a really funny one. It's that she is tutoring Chuck. So Spencer comes home one day, it's just a funny banter between the two, and he finds out that Carly is tutoring Chuck.
The soap in your bathroom smells awesome.
Chuck acts like nothing's wrong and is confused as to why he would be freaking out, which is so funny. I guess this is just gaslighting both the guys in the main cast for this.
You've let my enemy penetrate my inner sanctum.
And it feels like a Megan plot, like where nobody believes Drake and Josh that Megan is getting away with all this stuff because she's like a little kid. And honestly, it feels like that similarly. Carly, though, is on his side and is like, just treat this kid right. And it's so funny. Freddy comes over to borrow scissors, and Spencer is even in on the joke, which Freddy is like super against still. Just in time for Melanie to show up. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's Sam's twin, and it doesn't feel like it's actually her.
She tried to convince me I was adopted.
Uh-huh. And isn't it convenient that Sam isn't here right now?
And Freddy just doesn't believe it, and he's kind of disrespectful to her pretty quickly off the bat, so it makes a lot of sense. She does dress like an old woman, though. This is kind of crazy. Who was the wardrobe for this one? He tells her to shut up pretty quick, which is so crazy. Like, I would never tell anybody to do that outright.
I recognize you from iCarly.
Oh, shut up!
The next scene, they're hanging out at the Groovy Smoothie, and Freddy is still not buying this whole ordeal. Which is so funny, because as an audience member, I feel like taken out of it, because I'm focused on what Freddy's worried about. And then Melanie shows up, obviously for Sam to leave, so it seems like it's not real. So he does a plot twist and asks her out, to which she says yes, which is actually kind of crazy. But you know what? It's Melanie, you know, like, I'm starting to believe this is not actually her. Spencer once again is having a lot of weird things happen to him, and of course he believes it's Chuck.
Filled my motorcycle helmet with chunky red goo.
Ew, what is that?
I wish I knew.
Don't taste it!
Right.
You need to calm down and take a bubble bath or something.
You know, bathing isn't the answer to everything.
This is like the gaslighting episode for sure. And Carly just doesn't believe him. She does not believe that Chuck is problematic. Until she walks out of the room, sees that he is not afraid to beat him up. Oh my god, and he's aggressive with it, throwing him onto the table, and I am so shocked at this whole situation. So she ends up getting the proof, which is actually really nice. It kind of makes me feel better because honestly, like, Drake and Josh was stressful not seeing them relieve it. And so Carly decides to play a prank on Chuck by saying that there's a new number invented called DERF and teaches him how to use it. And
we get 437?
Awesome.
And she basically just unteaches him math in a way. Freddy and Melanie go on a date, and he wears like stripes just to get her to say she doesn't like him. And it's so funny because she is really good at acting. I genuinely, in this scene, started to think that this was not her. So he starts acting really ridiculous on the date, and this is like one of the more real Freddy and Sam moments, even though it's not necessarily Sam. And she ends up making a move to kiss him, and oh my gosh, Freddy kisses Sam so many times throughout this show. It is so ridiculous. Later, Chuck comes over with his dad, only to find out that he failed the test because of Carly and invented the number DERF. So this kid gets gaslit now. Oh my god, nobody wins. By the end of the episode, Sam is like done trying to prove that she has a twin sister, so she just gives in to Freddy.
Okay, you won. We tried to trick you, but we couldn't pull it off.
Ha! Then admit there's no Melanie, and that I'm not gullible, and that I'm too smart for you.
There's no Melanie, you're not gullible, and you're too smart for me.
That's right. In your face, Puckett.
And then we get one shot at the very end with both of them in the same room. So it feels very Boy Who Cried Wolf, like, throughout the whole time. And I understand if I'm Freddy, because he's been put through a lot this episode, and actually this show. So it's kind of insane that they're not afraid to, like, take this even further. Like, come on, guys, have a conscience. So now imagine Carly was dating Griffin that whole time because I Date a Bad Boy Part 1 was filmed, and then now they're about to film Part 2, and
Carly actually falls for Griffin until she learns he has and collects Pee-wee babies.
So this is really weird because, of course, this is what turns Carly off to him, and she basically doesn't like him anymore. I don't know, that's a little shallow to me. Suddenly, Spencer's issue is completely gone, and Carly doesn't care about his opinion anymore. And it doesn't seem like Spencer cares either. Same thing with Billy Ray. It seems like both episodes completely dropped the parental figure disapproving pretty quickly, which I wish that went on to the second episode, because why else would you guys do a two-parter if the episode plots don't immediately go to the next. When Carly attempts to accept his weird hobby, she ends up laughing about it with Sam, and Griffin overhears and asks if she wants to break up because she is unable to respond. Which, yeah, Griffin, I would take that for sure. You know what? The only difference between this guy and the guy from Hannah Montana is the name change.
So it just becomes about Carly trying to break up with him, and the Spencer plotline is almost completely thrown out. This is the one special that I feel like is completely written wrong, where it just knocks out Spencer by accident. It feels like two completely different episodes with one through line and nothing in between. I don't know how they organized it, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the way this was organized.
I feel like the term bad boy comes in with somebody who is not caring, emotionally distant, unable to receive criticism, and just all around inconsiderate, which makes me surprised why girls want to be with them. It's almost the objectification that we could fit guys into one stereotype where it's like, oh, they don't want to get married, they don't want commitment, they don't want this, and then we put them under the title of bad boy. This really bothers me because it's like, I don't want to kind of give the next generation insight onto like, oh, you want to date somebody that either isn't approved by your parents, or I don't know, this is just a weird trope, but it is honest to the time. I feel like people saw being a bad boy as this elusive way of life that was really attractive. God, what the heck is wrong with my generation? I feel like if Carly were to choose between a sensitive guy with stuffed animals versus this guy Griffin, then the conversation would have a lot more depth to it. Come on, Carly, that's like so shallow. Like, it's one thing to have started out shallow and then changed your mind, but this is like kind of, you know, like you're not growing. Clearly you're retracting in your personality. The two subplots in the iCarly episode is one that Sam asks Freddie to make a website for her in order to put up all these disgusting videos she collected, which she does, and Sam ends up selling the website and makes $1,000. And then, of course, the second episode completely does a separate story where Sam is giving a recurring nightmare where a monster eats her soup and Spencer tries to help her get over her fear. See, these could have been done in every episode. This is where we come to the supposed season finale. Yeah, this whole air dates and production dates thing, it's very confusing, and I'm sorry for all of it, but honestly, it's a new way to look at old episodes, so I think it's a cool concept. iTake on Dingo is the quintessential Disney parody episode, where iCarly and Nickelodeon are essentially making fun of Disney for copying them, which is insane, and I've got some thoughts here. This is the first time I think I've heard them do like a viewer in mail. So it's some guy named Robert saying that for his birthday he got game controllers without a console, which does suck. And so Carly and Sam turn this into a segment somehow, but it doesn't even work. What the heck? They just break a bunch of eggs, which doesn't even make sense to me. Like, why are they doing this as a sketch? Sometimes they're just so random to a point of nonsense. They have another messin' with Lewbert segment, which is actually really funny. There's like a Wahoo punch machine in the hallway and he gets his hand stuck, and this part actually I think ends up coming up in the reboot, which I feel bad for this man. Like, he's just trying to do his job, and this feels like irrelevant to the plot but comes up pretty quickly. Everybody at school starts telling Freddie, Sam, and Carly about how a show on the Dingo channel, which is the parody of Disney, copied random dancing by calling it random jumping. Kids at the school actually really stand up for them, and it's nice to see a school of unity instead of like bullying and like different negative dynamics going on, but it is kind of crazy. The show is called Totally Terry, and it's just making fun of sitcoms in general. I don't know what they're trying to go for. Sam and Carly watch it and try to see if it's actually ripping them off. They get outraged when there's like a parody of Lewbert as Rupert. I love these kinds of episodes.
What are you doing? Playing a joke on my doorman? Rupert?
His doorman, Rupert?
This becomes a road trip episode pretty quickly, which is the start of a bunch of road trip episodes from iCarly, which I really do like. They check into a motel and they travel all the way to Dingo Studios. And there's like a really weird sequence of them getting comfortable at the motel, and there's like clearly signs of a guy dying and a homeless man that keeps talking to them, and I gotta admit, it is a really funny sequence, but looking back, I can't tell if it's socially appropriate to laugh at this. It is kind of inappropriate.
What's that?
Just some tape.
There's a recurring rumor that the Dingo channel guy has his head cryogenically frozen and kept in the basement of Dingo, which of course is Spencer's whole plot this episode. Him and Freddie are like determined to figure out if this is a true rumor, and of course it definitely has to do with the Walt Disney rumors of him freezing his head, which I'm not even gonna get into. So Carly and Sam pay a visit to the writers while Freddie and Spencer try to hijack the studio. When they finally confront the writers, they act like they have no idea what these girls are talking about. And Sam, this is when she brings the butter sock in, which is so crazy. We learn quickly that they are stealing their ideas when the intern comes in and is like, I have a flash drive of all their episodes, which is so insane. I don't know if any TV show genuinely takes another show and copies and pastes their script onto theirs. Like, if I had a writer's room or even a show to begin with, my ego would be way too big to assume that anybody else's show is better than mine. So yeah, then the writers kind of don't know what to do. They just deny and deny.
Then how do you explain these cards on the wall under a sign that says ideas we can steal from iCarly?
Basically say that they have lawyers and there's nothing they could do about it, which is kind of the cold hard truth, which I hate. And these guys are so unapologetic, and of course there's not a single woman in the writer's room, which is ridiculous. Come on, guys, even in the false reality, we can't have women on staff. I hate it. Security kicks them out, and yeah, we think this is the end of the line for them. Meanwhile, Freddie and Spencer are stopped at the Dingo channel by a security guard, but then they trick him to leave, which is kind of insane. It does say cryogenic chamber, so there's no world where this isn't true. I mean, I don't think this is true in real life, but in this show, for sure, I believe this is happening.
Charles Dingo's head is in there.
You don't know that.
What else would you keep in a cryogenic freezer like that?
Cryogenic frozen pizzas?
Freddie's the non-believer throughout this episode, but it is, like, funny that it's, like, of course, there's no mistaking that something must be, at least be going on. They regroup at the motel, try to figure out what they could possibly do about the situation, and then later Freddie has the perfect idea. They threaten the head of Dingo.
What's he got there?
Oh, you know, just the,
Frozen head of Charles Dingo.
So that way they don't get sued, because then they could just release this to everybody. So Freddie gets a video of them admitting they stole videos from iCarly and says they won't release it as long as they stop parroting everything they do on iCarly, which is kind of funny because that is actually a pretty good way to solve this whole problem. Like, it definitely makes sense. By the end, they get two writers to come back to iCarly dressed in bikinis and fight with mud, which is kind of a crazy idea. I don't know. All around, weird episode, but at least we got like a fun parody of something actually going on in real life. Not the cryogenically frozen thing, but you know, like stealing ideas from sitcoms. It's not that much of a growing epidemic, but it's still interesting to note. All around, this is like one of my favorite episodes just because I like the TV industry, and seeing them mock it in itself is really fun. So yeah, if we look at the episodes in their intended order, there's 26 under the hood of Season 2. But I don't even know how I'm gonna go about these next couple episodes because I covered the end of Season 2, but this counts as Season 2. I'm gonna have to like make a full video and release it again later. Thank you guys so much for following my iCarly series. And make sure to check out some of my other retrospectives. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Johnny2000, and have a great day.